Okay, so hi guys. Today I will be talking about bringing it all back home. This is just an oral history of New York City's Vietnam veterans, and this book is by Philip F. Napoli. And before I get started, I just want to show you guys what the book looks like. So it kind of has like barbed wire right here, and then more barbed wire, and then it has like this little helicopter, and then the Statue of Liberty, but it's facing backwards. I don't know if you guys can see that. And I'm not going to read this part, but I do want to read this part. It says, "Bringing It All Back Home is a book we should all read, for it takes us from city streets to Vietnam jungles and back again. It's important and instructive account of the pilgrimage of New York's young men who went to war and came home to resume their city lives and share their experience." And then it just has more barbed wire right here. So, getting started on this book, this book really makes you appreciate everything. So, this book really makes you appreciate everything that like our veterans have done from us, and you really see it through their perspective, whether you realize it or not, or like whether we realize it or not in general, because I was unaware of it until I really started like researching and really like reading some of these books. But it's hard for like you to be serving somewhere, especially serving in like a third world country or serving like overseas and being away from your family so long. It's extremely hard for you to be doing that and then just get thrown back into society. And oftentimes, it's like more than people want to acknowledge. But this book really opens your eyes. This is just a perspective of, like it says, an oral history of New York City's Vietnam veterans. This is just their perspective from their viewpoint. But if you are interested in just like seeing it through a veteran's eyes, I would suggest this book is honestly such a good read. It really opens your eyes in multiple perspectives and in different ways. Also too, this book, it's like, I don't want to say it's expensive, but it's like a good price. But I feel like when you're reading it, like it's definitely worth it. I love reading books and things like that, of different accounts that happen within our country. So yeah, but I just want to show you guys what the book looks like. So over here it just lists out the Vietnam War, and it just like gives like a quick little, like, I don't want to, like, not introduction but quick like summary, and then it just says bringing it all back home, and then it's just the introduction. And okay, so the one thing about this book that I will say is that I do love reading. Like I'm an advocate reader. Like I'll pick up a book every day and I'll try to read. But the one thing about this book is that even though I really am really interested in this kind of stuff, reading this book for a while, it kind of is like, it gets like very like, it's kind of like tedious because the words are kind of like super pressed together, or the font is really small and there's a lot of words on one page. That is the educated way to say it. But it's very small and the words are like, it's a lot of words on each page. So it is a lot to read, I would say. So I kind of break it down, and I don't even read a chapter in a day. And the other thing about this book too is anytime you read, I feel like you're reading to understand, not really reading to read to say you read something, because what's the purpose of reading if you're not going to understand the content and the material? But the thing that helps me with this book, and this is just a suggestion, is that if you have a notebook alongside of you and a notepad, and you really are trying to read to understand this book, I say you get a notebook like I did and just kind of write down the different events and the different facts and stuff that happened within this book, because like I said before, this is a very like tedious book to read. But I just want to flip through and show you guys. But like I said, guys, like this is such a good book, and like one of the most informing books that I've read. And also, like I said about the notepad, that's another way to go through the book and kind of try to figure it out. So other different ways too is that I've had some friends put post-it notes in the book, and that kind of really helped them. I've had some friends like tear out pieces of paper and then they'll like leave it at the parts, because this is definitely a book that you definitely read to kind of understand what happened. And I feel like a lot of times like this topic is such a sensitive topic amongst veterans and things like that. So the fact that like there's a book, and even though it's an oral history of New York City's Vietnam veterans, it really just like outlines just like what veterans have to go through. And I definitely would suggest this book over and over again. But like I said, this is just bringing it all back home, an oral history of New York City's Vietnam veterans. And this one is just by Philip F. Napoli.